So as we begin this morning to start off our program, we're asked for our grass dancers out to the arena. They would not only ask for these individuals to come into an area before any ceremony or before anything had taken place, not only bringing down the grass, but bringing in the good, consider the showing the move of the grass, but at the same time, as the numerous of societies that are carried on when it comes to what we consider the nature of the societies that we have when it comes to not only the grass dance. So I want you to put your hands together for TJ and the little whiny guy over here, that's Rollin. And then we had Joshua Mowat. So give him a big hand as we get started with our program. And we're going to go right into what we consider or call the grass dance, and we hope you enjoy it. Give him a big hand. As we sit here and we get started with a lot of the different dances, as well as a lot of the different things, we really enjoy coming out here and educating people about not only the regalia that is worn, but the numerous of traditions that go into what we consider our dancing. So we hope that you'll enjoy it as we begin with what we consider or call our women's traditional. Like the women's traditional comes from a numerous of areas when it comes to not only the northern and the southern. Like these northern dancers, you'll see not only the movements of what we consider a very graceful, as well what we consider the backbone of everything that we do when it comes to our children, as well as when it comes to the men that are taken care of. On the far side away from me, actually this is Bobby Orr. She's a Salish flathead from Montana. Give her a big hand. And to the right of me, we have Donna Delgadillo. Give her a big hand, a Cherokee from the Tennessee area. Then over here to the left, we have Melissa Fain. Give her a big hand, dressed in what we consider a Comanche dress. So more or less she became a captive. You know, when it came to a lot of things that we do when it comes to not only tradition, you'll see what we consider the resemblance of the regalia from the northern as well as what we consider the southern style. In one hand, each and every one of these young ladies are carrying what we consider or call a shawl. For the shawl was not only used in a numerous of times, but when it came to not only the times of war, when it came to an individual as well as some of these women that took care of their sons and their husbands. During the war times, they would actually use these shawls to actually come into the war field and actually look for their sons, or even sometimes to even just throw a blanket over the ones that had returned from war. As you would see in the other hand, they are carrying what we consider a dance fan. For the dance fan is used in a numerous of ways and not made from a numerous of what we consider eagle feathers, as well as a numerous of things that are used in what we consider the wing or the tail feathers of an eagle. As you'd see them bowing down in honor of the earth, you'll see the numerous of moves that are still being done and actually in honor of themselves as well as the services that they have done for themselves as well as for the military. So we hope that you'll enjoy this category as we bring you the women's northern and southern traditional. We hope you enjoy it. Oh, yeah, yeah. Give them a big hand. All right. Like a lot of times, there are a lot of things that go into the regalia, like Bobby as well as Donna. Each one of them has served not only in the military, but there are numerous items that they carry on their regalia that shows the resemblance or the service time that they had while they were in the military. At the same time, we not only recognize these different things, but the numerous of people that actually serve for this country and earning the different medals as well as earning the different rights that they have in terms of what we consider the relationship that we have with the military. Like our next category, we're going to bring out one of the oldest categories that we have, and it's what we consider or call the men's Northern Traditional. For the traditional category, not only comes from the northern parts of the country, but as you look at this young man as he makes his way into the circle, why don't you put your hands together for John Banta. Give him a big hand. As you would see directly on his back, he is wearing what we consider or call a bustle. For the bustle not only resembles what we consider the engagement in war, but the eagle feathers that are used and earned during war times is actually showing the uprights that actually recognize the bow and the arrow, along with the drag that actually tells the story of his engagement in war. As you see him not only looking on the ground, looking for the trail of his enemy, he'll indicate that trail by using what we consider the dance stick, along with their dance fan to indicate that trail. Directly on his head, he is wearing what we consider or call a roach. And the roach is made from the guard hairs of a porcupine along with the pretty colors of deer tail that is all tied together and sewn together on a base, along with what we consider his veteran feathers that are put directly on his head and what we consider the most valuable feathers that he has to our Creator. A long time ago, they would consider this almost like a manger that they would carry on top of their heads, not only telling the story of their engagement, but also sitting there showing the movements of the trail for their enemy. So we hope that you'll enjoy this category. Give John a big hand as we go right into the men's Northern Traditional. Give him a big hand. All right. There's like a lot of things, that go into what we consider relating to the earth. Like a lot of different things that we actually have when it comes to our dances. A lot of the dances that are handed down from generation to generation at the same time as the numerous of items and things, and not only the stories that go along with the regalia, but the stories that go along with the dancing. Like a lot of these dances have originated around the turn of the century, but a lot of them have really came out of the closet and what we consider a very valuable asset to what we consider the circle. Our next category that we're going to call out is we're going to call out our women's jingle. For the jingle dress comes from the northern parts of the country and what we consider a very valuable asset to not only to our people or to what we consider the very valuable asset to their dancing. So why don't you sit there and put your hands together for Tasha Delgadillo. Give her a big hand. It took her a little while to snap out of it this morning, but we got her going, you know. As you would look at the dress and not only the regalia that is worn, the dress not only represents 365 days of the year, but you look at the pretty cones that are put upon this dress. On these cones, it not only represents the tobacco of what we consider the Mother Earth, but the numerous of stories that go along with this dress and what we consider a young lady asking for a healing. When she came to our elders, not only asking for a healing to heal herself, they gave her almost an entire year to prepare herself to coming into the circle. She represented that year by what we consider or call the jingle. For the jingle not only represents the tobacco, but each one of these jingles are made from the lids of tobacco. And it represents 365 days of the year, plus 4 for the 4 directions. As you'd see her not only moving and shuffling her feet and moving around in different directions. Actually, we consider this a very valuable asset to what we consider or call the medicine dress. So we hope that you'll enjoy this category. Give Tasha a big hand as we go right into the women's jingle. Like a lot of things that we do when it not only comes to what we consider the drum. We consider the drum the heartbeat of all nations, for a drum does not know the denomination or creed or color, in which not only individuals throughout the world that actually have their own drums, like the Irish, they have their kilts, as well as their Irish drums, and the different people that carry a lot of drums throughout the world. Like a lot of different times, we believe that there's a lot of things that come into the heartbeat of what we consider all nations. So we hope that you enjoy a lot of the songs as well as a lot of the dances. Our next category that we're going to call out is we're going to bring you a dance that comes from out of Oklahoma, and we're going to bring you the men's straight dance. For the straight dances originated around the turn of the century when it came to not only our Indian people, as well as the numerous of tribes that actually were involved in Oklahoma and what we consider the peace treaties that they had at one time. They not only recognized the numerous of these individuals that were fighting for this country, but the individuals that were considered other when it came to not only fighting at the same time as serving for our country. Today we consider it what we call the straight dance, where it originated from what we consider the Ponca people. When it came to not only the numerous of things that our warriors had done, but the numerous of things that they still do today, not only recognizing the representation of war, but the representation that they had in what we consider serving for the military service. As you look at these two young brothers across from each other, we got over here, we got Jeff Delgadillo, along with his brother over here. What's his name? Joe Delgadillo. I mean, I had to sit here and remember these names because we go to so many different places. As you see them not only looking on the ground, looking for the trail of their enemy, as you would look at the regalia that is worn Directly on the side of them, they are wearing what we consider the tabs. For these tabs were used not only for engagements in war, but at the same time was able to tie themselves to their horses and leave their hands free for the engagement in war. Or if an individual was knocked off his horse or wounded, they actually could ride by and use these tabs to pick them up and take them to safety. As you see them looking on the ground, looking for the trail of their enemy, we consider this the gentleman's dance, or the gracefulness that comes from out of Oklahoma. So why don't you give these two young men a big hand as we bring you an exhibition of the straight dance.
Hello, Scotty, where you at? Hello, Scotty,
All right, give them a big hand. Like a lot of things that actually come to us not only from different areas, but the numerous things that are recognized when it comes to not only the Mother Earth. Like our next category, we consider this a very valuable asset not only to our young ladies, but to the category that these young ladies dance in. So we're going to call out our women's fancy. So why don't you put your hands together for Amanda Martinez. I think I actually remembered her name this time. Like Amanda, as well as the numerous of young ladies that not only compete themselves against a lot of the young men, but at the same time was the numerous of things that were brought to us from our Creator and what we consider the fancy dance or the butterfly dance. As you would see, draped over her shoulders is what we call a shawl. For the shawl not only resembles the wings of the butterfly, but also the pretty fringe that is used in this category to show the movements of a butterfly in flight. As you see her twisting and turning and using her legs and her arms in a certain manner of showing what we consider the butterfly in flight. As you would see, not only the pretty plumes that are used in her hair, but we consider this a very valuable asset when it comes to not only our Indian people, for we believe when it came to not only a young lady as well as turning into what we consider a very valuable asset to what we consider the circle is the butterfly. So we hope that you'll enjoy this category. Give her a big hand. This is Amanda Martinez as we go right into the women's fancy. Give them a big hand. Like a lot of times and a lot of things that we not only talk about when it relates to the earth, like myself, I'm a Comanche from out of Lawton, Oklahoma. When it came to not only the language as well as the traditions that come into what we consider the resources of our people, we were considered what they consider the lords of the plains, as we not only called ourselves the Numina, but the Numina not only meant the lords of the plains, or as well as what we consider the people. Like a lot of things that we do when it comes to not only the circle, we represent a lot of different things that actually relate to the earth, as well as a lot of things that are traditionally brought to us into what we consider the circle. Like our next category, why don't you put your hands together for these two young men, as we're going to bring you a presentation of the Eagle Dance. For the eagle is held in high regards not only to all the natives in North America, but also in Canada. When it comes to not only the eagle, we believe that the eagle is a very high regarded spirit that is still used today. Like a lot of our Indian people that have to be regulated when it comes to these eagle feathers, we actually have to have a card that tells the degree of our Indian blood. Actually, to even possess these eagle feathers is to actually go through a lot of our tribal offices to actually get these feathers and retain these feathers throughout North America. Like a lot of the different moves that you'll see from these young men, you'll see them showing the movements of a young eagle in flight, at the same time as showing the movements of what we consider a valuable asset to not only the dancing part of it, but the valuable asset to the eagle. We believe that the eagle carries the spirit of our elders, and each and every time that one of these eagle feathers ever touched the ground, we believe that one of our brother veterans have passed over into the spirit world, or one of our elders have passed on to the spirit world. So we consider them a very valuable asset. We hope that you'll enjoy this category. Why don't you put your hands together for Joe Delgadillo and Josh Mowat. Give them a big hand as we go right into the exhibition of the Eagle Dance. Give him a big hand. We hope you enjoyed it. As we sit here and we move along into a lot of the different categories that we have at the same time as we're trying to catch up on our time, but we're going to bring you another presentation of what we consider a very valuable asset to what we consider the acrobatic part of what we consider dancing when it comes to not only our drum, but the numerous of things that these young men do when they come into the circle. So like this next category as well, we consider it a very valuable asset. Why don't you put your hands together for Josh Mowat and Jeff Delgadillo. We're going to bring you what we consider or call hoop dancing. As you see him not only going into his different designs, the more that you cheer and the more that you sit there and show them the respect that they needed for this category, the harder they're going to work. As you see them holding their different designs, it not only relates to what we consider the Mother Earth, but the numerous of things that individuals that sit there and recognize what we consider hoop dancing. So we hope that you'll enjoy this category. We hope you'll show your appreciation from these individuals and put your hands together and show them the appreciation that is needed. We hope you enjoy it. As we finish our presentation for this morning, we're trying to catch ourselves on time. We have a few minutes. I'm going to turn Donna on here. She'll be on for about 5 minutes before our Aztecs come on. But if you have any questions or if there's any pictures you want to take and whatsoever, feel free to come over here to our table and look at some of the items that we have. And we have face painting and whatsoever. You know, there's a number of things that we have to offer. If there's any information that you want to know about us, be sure and make your way over here to the table or come ask some questions of these dancers. You're welcome to come on over and talk to these guys. So we hope that you'll enjoy it. I'm going to turn the microphone over here to Donna Delgadillo, and she's going to tell you some real short stories for about 5 minutes, and then more or less our Aztecs will be coming on. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we thank you. We are the Plainsmen, and we hope you'll enjoy your morning here at Silver Springs. Cool.
Hello, everybody. Come on and sit down. Get a seat around the arena. You can sit anywhere on the hay bales. That's fine. My name is Donna, and I am Cherokee. And the way we say good morning is Osta Shunale. Osta? Can you say Osta?
Osta.
Osta Shunale.
Shunale. Osta
That means
Shunale.
good morning. So, you know, people ask how you say hello, goodbye, and things like that. Well, we don't have a word for goodbye. Most of the Indian nations do not have a word for goodbye because goodbye is so final. What we do say is we'll see you later or when we meet again, things like that. The way the Cherokee say it is "Dedadagohanya." So, it means when we see you again. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you a little short story here. I think I'll tell the ones, since we've got so many children and kids always have so many questions. I think I'm going to tell the one a good friend told me one time about why dogs sniff each other's tails when they meet. Do you know why? Does anybody know why? Well, you know, see, a long time ago, the dogs, they used to like to get together and they'd have their council meetings and decide, you know, how to govern themselves just like we do. And then after they had their council meetings and decided their important business, they would sing and dance and have a good time. Well, the place they'd like to meet was in this farmer's cornfield. And when they started singing and dancing in among all the corn stalks, the first thing they noticed was that their tails would whack against the corn stalks and it would hurt. So they decided, well, the best thing to do was just take their tails off and hang them up in the corn stalks. So that's what they did, and then they could sing and dance all night and not worry about whacking the corn stalks. Well, but they had to stay very, very quiet because if they got too loud, the farmer would come out and run them off. So they were out there singing and dancing and having a good time. Of course, you know, it always happens whenever somebody's singing and dancing, somebody gets a little loud, and then one dog, he starts going, oh, he's just having a good time. Well, the lookouts start hollering, here comes the farmer, everybody run, run, run. So the dogs start going every which way. And then they get a few feet out and they go, oh no, our tails. And they all run back and they grab the first tail they come to, slap it on, and off they run. And that's why today, when dogs meet each other, they sniff each other's tails to see if that other dog might have his. All right. Well, later on today, I'll have a little more time to tell you some more stories. So if you want to come back for our second session, I think we're back on at 11:30. We'll do more dancing, more singing, and I'll tell you some more stories, okay? So the Aztecs will be on in just a couple minutes. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. Again, good morning. Good morning. All right. First of all, we would like to thank you for coming out here and spending this beautiful morning here with us. My name is Ixtlisochitl Isela Salinas. I am from Mexico City, Mexico, and I'm here with part of the family to share with you a little bit of our traditions, a little bit of our dances. Also, I would like to ask you that during these dances to please not to run or walk across the circle. To us, the circle is very important, it's very sacred, it represents our family. And once we begin our dancing, it is us asking permission, blessing the ground. So to us, it is very disrespectful to run across or walk across this circle. When you see us step into this arena and face the 4 points, that is what we call Nawi Olin. Nawi Olin means 4 movements. It represents the 4 directions. This is asking permission to the 4 main elements that we need to survive, which is the fire, the earth, the wind, and the water. Followed by this is the ancient dance, or the dance of the Huaxolotl. This dance, it pays respect to our elders, our grandparents. You know, we come from Mexico, and of course we do speak Spanish, but to us that is a second language. Our original language is called Nahuatl. The Nahuatl tongue, the Nahuatl language, is the mother language of a lot of dialects in central and northern Mexico and some of the tribes from the southwest of the U.S. These different dances that we're going to be sharing with you, they have been passed down in our families from generation to generation. If you ever get a chance to visit Mexico City, throughout the central region of Mexico, every weekend there are different festivities that take place in different communities. And we dance for an average of 7 hours of straight dancing. The thing about it though is that when we begin a festivity, we are not allowed to stop dancing until the festivity is finished with. And yet we are not allowed in a circle without dancing. when we do our festivities back home, of course, we don't dance for an audience, we don't use a microphone, but to us it's very important to share with you what is the meaning behind these dances. What is the purpose of them? One of them is to give thanks for everything that we have, for the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, for our families, for our health. Every one of these different dances has a different symbolism. And as we go through this program, I will explain to you the meaning of the following dances, about our clothing as well, and the instruments that we use. At this time, we're going to begin by opening our circle with the Nawi Olin, the 4 points, the 4 movements, followed by the ancient dance, or the dance of the Washolot. At this time, I would like to call my father to the front, please. As you can see, our clothing is very elaborate, very bright, very colorful. Every design, every color, every feather is there with a symbolism. Each dancer must make their own clothing. The reason for this is that these are designs and colors according to that person. The day that we are born, family, and community that we belong to, as well as every time we make a new piece of clothing, we do so putting colors and designs, honoring a certain element or a certain deity. The style of clothing that my father is wearing is that of a warrior. This style of clothing, we wear it for ceremonies and for festivities. Everything is handmade. The cape that he's wearing is made of sequins. Every one of these stitched one by one to form all the different intricate designs, as well as his outfit and his shield made of glass seed beads, also sewn one by one to form all these different designs. The colors of his outfit are representing the element of fire, but always maintaining a balance by adding colors and designs of an opposite element. And with that, he has colors honoring the element of water. On his shield, he has Quetzalcoatl, the feather serpent. I am sure that most of you, at one time or another, have seen the Aztec calendar. There are two serpents that meet at each end, which represents the continuous cycle of life, which is creation and destruction. The feathers that he's carrying on his headdress, these are pheasant feathers, and they represent the movement of the serpent. The seats around his ankles, these are called chachayotes, and they represent the sound of the rattlesnake. And it goes on to represent that serpent, that continuous cycle that is on the outline of the Aztec calendar, or as we call it, Tonalamatl, the stone of the sun. These seeds, they also provide for us a very important part to our dancing, which is the music, the rhythm. They serve as rattle for our feet, but they also have another purpose, which is that of medicine, to help us protect and heal against rheumatism and arthritis. He's also carrying one of the rattles. These are made of metal, which are more resistant to the traditional rattle, which is made of gourd. The next dance that he would like to share with you is the dance of the toshli, or the dance of the rabbit, which is a dance usually danced by the oldest member of a circle. We have a wide array of different dances. We have social dances. We also have ceremonial dances. There are dances to honor every member of a family, from the youngest to the oldest. We have dances that honor our children. We have dances that honor women. We are the ones that keep our people alive, our families alive. There are dances that honor our warriors. They are the protectors of our families. And there are dances that honor our elders, such as the first dance that we had, the ancient dance. This next dance that we would like to share with you is a very easy dance and yet a very important dance. This is one of our social dances. It's a friendship dance. It is known as a friendship dance. It is also known as the dance of the sun. Please, we ask you, don't be shy. We have traveled a long way to be here with you today. And we do appreciate every one of you coming out here today to share this day with us, taking this interest in learning about the native people of the Americas. So what better way than to be able to take part in this circle, learn a little bit of Aztec dancing. These are very easy steps. We're going to show you how to do this. My father will be leading you in this dance. You know, even though that we are born and raised within these dance communities, we are never forced to take up the tradition of dancing. However, in the middle of the celebrations, we stop all the dancing. And also, we don't usually dance for an audience. We usually do gather an audience. So at the middle of the celebrations, we stop all the dancing. And we invite in anyone who would like to participate, our children included. Myself, I remember as a young child also taking part in these friendship dances. It is a really good way to learn how to enjoy and respect the dance circle at the same time. As I mentioned to you, the circle represents our family. As you can see, my father, he's carrying a shield for dancing. You know, our people at one time was a warrior people. To this day, we still are a warrior people, but we don't engage in battles against each other. To this day, our battles are to maintain our identity strong. Our shields that we carry during dancing, it represents our families. It's what protects us. It's what shields us. At times, we also carry what we call macahuitl, which is a fighting staff. We carry those during dancing also. Those to us represent education. To us, these two are very essential elements to a family, to a society. I need everybody in in the circle. I need everybody, let's hold hands. Let's form one complete circle. I need all our new dancers. Let's form one complete circle. During this friendship dance, all you have to do is follow the steps my father will be sharing with you. However, we have added a small part to this friendship dance. We're going to ask for 4 volunteers. We need 4 volunteers with a lot of energy, that are not shy at all, that had a good breakfast this morning. If you can't sit still in class, we're looking for you. Raise your hand. My father will be picking out these volunteers. And we're going to ask also, what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 teams. All right, I'm going to ask for 2 teams. I'm going to split the circle in half. Everybody on my left side, you guys are going to be cheering the team on my left. Everybody on my right side is going to be cheering the team on the right. All right, we're going to have a small friendly competition. This is a dance competition. There is no right or wrong way to do this. They get to do any kind of dancing they like, as long as they follow the beat of the drum. They cannot stop dancing until the drum stops beating. My father will be giving them a small dance demonstration just to give them an idea of what kind of dance moves they can do. After this demonstration, we will have each team share their dancing with us. You can do any kind of dancing just adapted to the beat of our drum. This is a demonstration. Let's watch for now. Remember, you get to do any kind of dance moves you want. You don't have to follow our exact same dance steps. If you can do flips in the air, hey, go for it, all right? This is a competition. You have to try to outdance the other team. It's a friendly competition, but a competition nonetheless.
I can do a handstand.
Okay, this young man, he's going to give his team a name. What is going to be your team's name?
Lightning spear.
Lightning Spear is going to be on my right. All right, everybody on my right side, you guys have to cheer really loud for Lightning Spear. Again, Lightning Spear, let's hear really loud. All right, this young lady's going to give a name to her team.
Little stars.
Little Stars, beautiful name. Everybody on the left, let's hear really loud for Little Stars. All right, our first team is going to be Lightning Spears. Everybody, let's hear really loud for them.
Are you guys ready? Are you? Yeah! Okay. Woo! One more time. One more time. You guys ready?
All right, Lightning Spear, let's see them dance. Good luck.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, let's make a lot of noise for them. All right. I'm gonna ask them not to go anywhere. Let's see our second team dance, Little Stars. Let's hear really loud for them. Good luck. All right, you are the judges of this competition. Let us know, what do you think of Lightning Spear? How about their dance? How about Little Stars? Little Stars will be taking first place. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a small dance-off. We've seen a lot of really enthusiastic kids out here. My father is gonna pick one representative of each team to dance at the same time with a representative of the other team. Both of them at the same time. Everybody in the audience, you are in charge of making them dance faster. The louder that you can be, the faster our drum will be beating, and the faster they're going to have to dance, of course. So at this time, let's see both of these dancers share their steps with us. Let's see them dance. Good luck. It's really good to see them out here dancing, putting all this energy. Once again, let's hear really loud for Lightning Spear. Little Stars. First place to both of these young men. We thank them for coming out here and sharing their dance moves with us. And I'm going to ask all these dancers to take your place again in this circle. Everybody, let's hold hands. Let's hold hands. We're getting ready to do our first dance. All you must do is follow the steps that we will be sharing with you. Everybody out there in the audience, you are more than welcome to clap along to the beat of our drum. This is our friendship dance. Enjoy.
We would like to thank you for your cooperation and also for your attendance today. As my sister was explaining to you, the place, the origin, where we come from, our heritage, a little bit of our purpose now in the present. We'd like to reinforce on a little bit. We come from central Mexico, as you already know us as Aztec. There is a very big misconception in books that the Aztec is no longer existent, when 90% of our population in central Mexico is indigenous descendant. This is reflected in our color, our hair, different forms of art that we still practice nowadays. Dancing itself, which is what we're presenting to you, is one form of art that is still preserved throughout the years. The symbolisms, the representations behind the regalia, behind the instruments, everything has a meaning. In ancient times, we did not have an alphabet. We would record our history, our events, in a pictographic way of communication, very much as in Egypt. This led to many misconceptions as we worship many gods. We have always believed in one creator, but throughout the years we have annexed the different elements into Catholicism. Catholicism was brought to our people in the 15th century. Today we're Catholic, but we still maintain many of our traditions, many of our forms of art alive. Dancing itself is one of them, and we thank the Park of Silver Springs for giving us the opportunity once again to bring this small glimpse of our culture to all of you. And we would like to thank your schools as well for giving you the opportunity to witness this. There is very few people that can witness the Aztec in person. This is basically the ancient Aztec regalia, as my sister was explaining to you. And at this time I would like to explain to you a little bit of the music, the instruments. They're all percussion instruments, handmade out of natural resources. The main instrument is called the huehuet. Huehuet in ancient Nahuatl language. Today we speak Spanish, but we also speak the language of Nahuatl. It branches out into different dialects, and some words can be found up until North America, as far as Central America. Huehuet in our language translates into voices or echoes of our grandparents. This is a drum. You know this as a drum. In ancient times, we did not have a word for drum. We simply called it huehuet. This is carved out of the ahuehuete tree. Here you know it as a cypress. It's the strongest type of wood that we have in central Mexico. And it is carved in the external part. After the show, you're welcome to come closer to it and take a look at it. There is carvings throughout it depicting symbolisms or at times events to a particular family or to an entire group. This is a contemporary piece that has been with our family for approximately over 20 years now. Some pieces could date before Christ, and they're only found in museums in Mexico City or in Europe. We also use the ayotl or the turtle shell. This is another ancient instrument, and my sister explained to you about the ayoyotes. Ayoyote is a type of seed pod that grows in central Mexico. It is impossible for it to grow over here in North America because of the cold winters. This is a very warm climate seed pod. It's not eatable, it's toxic, but it's also medicinal, and it helps relieve the rheumatism or the arthritis. It has been used by our people for centuries, and today it's also used as an instrument, as a rattle for our feet, our anklets, and these at the end of our body. And since our culture is very symbolic, these rattles at the end of our body are supposed to make us represent or resemble a rattlesnake, which is the animal that pierces Mother Earth, linking the person or the humans with Mother Earth, or the ancient mother, also representing fertility. We also use the Ateco Coli. This instrument in ancient times was used to communicate from long distances, or also to open up ceremonies. What we're presenting to you is not a ceremony, but a small glimpse of our ceremonies that still take place in Mexico City. Perhaps the biggest one is the one in December 12th in Mexico City. And again, it's very, you guys are very fortunate for the park to bring this a small glimpse of these ceremonies what still take place in our ancient communities here in Silver Springs. Next, we would like to present to you a very special dance, a very ancient dance. It represents, and at the same time it gives thanks to the Creator for every time cycle, for the ending and praying for the beginning of a time cycle. There is a ceremony every 52 years in central Mexico dedicated to the new fire, and it's called the ceremony of the huehueteot. This is a dance representing this ceremony in what we are close to nature, honoring and giving thanks for what we receive from them. This is a dance of the Shikuot, or the dance of the fire. Before we actually start this dance, we would like to advise the young audience not to imitate this dance. It's a dance in which a dancer becomes in contact with the fire in body and mind. It takes many years for the dancer to do this dance, and it is real fire. It does hurt us, but when we dance, we create energy, positive energy. I'm very sure you already have touched that topic in school about negative and positive energy. Our bodies is composed of that, but people, when they get older, they are able to measure and use mind and body and concentration along with the music itself to perform this dance. It's a very special dance, and we advise you not to imitate it. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to thank you for your attention, for your respect, for participating with us as well. You know, when you hear of Native Americans, what comes to mind is what we see on TV. You know, there is Native Americans from the tip of South America to the tip of North America. Mexico is part of North America. We represent one of over 385 recognized tribes, communities, and cultures within Mexico alone. Mexico City is part, also known as Mesoamerica, which is a cradle of great cultures such as the Mayan, the Toltec, the Olmec, the Zapotec, and the Aztec. We are very honored to have been invited out here. Once again, to us is a responsibility, to our families, to our previous generations, to continue learning these dances so that we are able to pass it on to our children. But also, every time that we travel to a new place, every time we share these dances with a new person, we are maintaining our culture alive. Because as you live here today, every one of you will take a small part of what you've seen take place in this circle. Perhaps something that was said, perhaps a part of a dance. But to us, each one of you will maintain our culture alive, because each one of you will be able to later on say that you were here, that you've seen these Aztec dances. To us, it is in a humble way that we are able to say we are very proud of the heritage that has been handed to us, and it is also a great obligation, because we are to continue doing these dances, we are to continue passing this on to our following generations. So on behalf of our family, we would like to thank every one of you in Silver Springs for having us out here once again. Our family will be back on at 12:15. We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
We are close to nature, honoring and giving thanks for what we receive from them. This is a dance of the Shikuat, or the dance of the fire. Before we actually start this dance, we would like to advise the young audience not to imitate this dance. It's a dance in which a dancer becomes in contact with the fire in body and mind. It takes many years for the dancer to do this dance, and it is real fire. It does hurt us, but when we dance, we create energy, positive energy. I'm very sure you already have touched that topic in school about negative and positive energy. Our bodies is composed of that, but people, when they get older, they are able to measure and use mind and body and concentration, along with the music itself, to perform this dance. It's a very special dance, and we advise you not to imitate it. Thank you.
at this time, we would like to thank you for your attention, for your respect, for participating with us as well. You know, when you hear of Native Americans, what comes to mind is what we see on TV. You know, there is Native Americans from the tip of South America to the tip of North America. Mexico is part of North America. We represent one of over 385 recognized tribes, communities, and cultures within Mexico alone. Mexico City is part, also known as Mesoamerica, which is a cradle of great cultures such as the Mayan, the Toltec, the Olmec, the Zapotec, and the Aztec. We are very honored to have been invited out here. Once again, to us is a responsibility, to our families, to our previous generations, to continue learning these dances so that we are able to pass it on to our children. But also, every time that we travel to a new place, every time we share these dances with a new person, we are maintaining our culture alive. Because as you live here today, every one of you will take a small part of what you've seen take place in this circle. Perhaps something that was said, perhaps a part of a dance. But to us, each one of you will maintain our culture alive, because each one of you will be able to later on say that you were here, that you've seen these Aztec dances. To us, it is in a humble way that we are able to say we are very proud of the heritage that has been handed to us, and it is also a great obligation, because we are to continue doing these dances, we are to continue passing this on to our following generations. So on behalf of our family, we would like to thank every one of you in Silver Springs for having us out here once again. Our family will be back on at 12:15. We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
How's everybody doing out here?
Turtle, yes, turtle. You want to look at it? This is deer skin, and that's a Florida deer. They're a lot thinner. They're coal.
It's made out of charcoal. You just grind the charcoal up, mix it with bear grease or some other grease, and paint it on.
Okay.
The
And
red is also war paint, but this is ochre. This is actual ochre. This is
Ochre.
ground up that they use. This is the same thing that's been used for thousands of years. And it ochre. O-C-R-E.
Oh, O-C-R-E, okay.
Ochre. And it's a stone.
A stone.
It comes in red, brown, yellow, blue, and then several shades of orange and other colors. And it's very, very, just touch
Very
it.
fine. Yeah.
And then,
Make makeup out of that, huh? Cool.
and that's actually just dirt, is what it is.
Right.
But what it does to you is, if I leave that on there all day, when I wash it off at night, it won't wash
It'll
off.
stain your skin.
It'll stain the skin, and it'll have to wear off. It'll take a week to wear off.
Really?
I wore war paint at one of the events we did for 4 days. Didn't take it off 4 days and 4 nights. But we had kids from 8 in the morning until 7 at night. And then we had adults until midnight doing the program.
How do you
So
put
I
the war
slept
paint
in
on?
it.
You don't have to mix it with water or oils or anything.
This will
just-
go on like it is. You can mix it with bear grease or with a grease, and then it goes on very easy. And you can get straight lines with bear grease, using the bear grease. Using it this way, you can see it. Acorns are food.
How would you prepare that?
Round acorns are very bitter. Round acorns contain an alkaloid which is toxic. But you peel them, grind them up, and then put water on them and let them soak. Keep stirring them around for about 3 days and pouring the water off twice a day. And then what's left is sort of a paste. After about 3 days, pour the water off, take that paste out, make it into nice cakes and throw it in the fryer and fry it, or put it in soup, or put it in
That's
stew.
the round ones you're talking
The round ones. The long ones you can eat right off of the tree.
How many of the round ones would it take to make you sick? How toxic is it?
Yeah, well, it depends on who it is, the body. As few as 2 can make some people sick. I can eat a handful in one bottle.
Because he's eaten before.
Yeah, I can eat a handful. I can eat them. It builds up. It won't hurt you to eat them
Right.
one until they quit. But if you keep on it, it continues to build. It doesn't dissipate. But it continues to build. until it gets to the point that it makes you sick. Now, like the long ones you can eat right off the tree. They don't contain an alcohol. But the long ones can be used for other things too. You can take the long one, peel it, or take the hull off, cut a little piece of chicory root, throw it all together and roast it, then grind it up and make good coffee out of it.
Ooh, that does sound good.
Makes excellent coffee. I've used it as coffee substitute many times. I've also used the pine trees. Pine needle makes an excellent tea.
Really?
Delicious tea.
Pine needle?
Pine needle tea. Cut off the green pine needles, so you cut them in sections about that long, steep them like a regular tea, and you got a very good tea. And use wild honey or honey to sweeten it. And if you've ever eaten a mango, it tastes a whole lot like mango.
Ooh, I love mangoes. That's one of my favorite
You know
fruits.
that mango's got a little piney taste to
Yes,
it.
it does, actually.
Yeah, and that tea will taste exactly like it if you use honey to sweeten it.
Wow, I might have to try some of that. And you just use the green leaves.
Green leaves only. We've got another thing we use for tea here too. Let me get this. I'll be right back over. Let me grab this over here. Smell it.
Some licorice. It smells like licorice. No? Yes. Root beer.
The reason it smells like root beer is because that's what root beer is made from.
You're kidding.
Nope.
What kind of tree is that from?
Sassafras.
Sassafras.
That's sassafras root.
It smells yummy.
I make sassafras tea out of it. It tastes exactly the way it smells. And then I add mint to it, and I sweeten it with honey. And it makes a tea that is out of this world.
You just steep
I
steep that
I
root.
just shave off a few pieces like I did.
Where do you get something like that?
It grows wild all the way from about Gainesville, North Dakota.
I just wouldn't have to know where to
Totally
look.
wild tree, grows out in the woods everywhere. It is a very unique tree because it's the only tree, there's only 2 trees in the world that have 3 distinct kinds of leaves. It'll have one leaf that looks like a mitten with a thumb, another leaf like a mitten with a thumb and finger, and the third leaf looks just like this oak leaf. And they'll all be on the same twig.
Really?
All on the same twig.
Y'all paying attention?
The only other tree like it in the world that has the 3 leaves is a cousin to it that grows in China.
Wow. So if you see that, you know it's sassafras. And what are those other little nuts you have there?
Those
peas?
are actually peas.
Oh, peas, okay.
There's a creek down south of Florida, in South Florida, and during the 1830s they were going to use that as the treaty line. And it's called Peas Creek
Peas Creek.
because of the wild peas that grew on it all along the side.
Okay.
Well, the white men had trouble saying Peas Creek, so they changed it to Peace River.
Peace River.
So the Peace River, the real name is Peas Creek,
Peace Creek.
given by the Indians. But then we've changed everything.
Absolutely.
You know, I ask people if they ever been out to Lake Churchill in the forest. That's Lake Ferdinand. That was Lake Churchill. So.
What are the wafers? What are these?
Those are something we stole from the soldiers. They have this weird stuff, but we won't eat it.
There we have a piece of cork in, so it would not let anything fall out. So what I was doing here a while ago with the irons is as we take them out and they're out in the wet and everything, they rust. So I'm putting beeswax on it and just keeping them from rusting, because that's what happened to this thing. It got next to the irons and got messed up. So yeah, kind of embarrassing to show him, and then you got that, you know. But you have to watch it. But when you're packing up, that's what happens when they're wet.
It's nicely cut though.
These things get all very wet sometimes, and the ground is wet even though it's dry. Got any questions, let us know. There's some food stuff. The red stuff is ochre, basically red dirt chunks, and you would pound it up and get powder out of it to face paint. The black is charcoal off the fire, and we use that for paint.
They didn't kill the animals. The animals are dead already.
How would you like to live that way?
Fight too, huh?
But now the Seminoles use that for advantage. Because the Seminoles knew that these soldiers were eating this rotten meat and trying to eat the biscuits, the hard crack. So they would wait until they'd been out about 8 or 10 days. They'd wait until they couldn't stand that torque anymore. And they go in a clearing